In Spacewatch, the world's largest airplane took flight for the first time Saturday. The 500,000-pound Strata-launched jet flew for more than 2.5 hours. It reached an altitude of 17,000 feet over California. If you're wondering why we're calling this Spacewatch, it's because the aircraft is designed as a platform for launching rockets that would carry small satellites into space. The designers say their goal is to, quote, make access to orbit as routine as catching a commercial airline flight is today. Bill Harwood is a CBS space consultant and joins us now from Merritt Island, Florida. Bill, thanks so much for being with us. This is pretty remarkable. Can you explain to us why this is so significant?
Well, really, if you just think about just the size alone for a minute, it's an impressive feat. The company Strata-Launch went out and bought two 747 jumbo jets from United Airlines. They took the engines off, they took the wheels, the landing gear off, a lot of other equipment. And then they built from scratch a new airplane using those engines, landing gear, and other components to build this, as you say, rocket launch platform. It's the biggest airplane in the world ever when measured across the wings. You could put a football field on those wings from tip to tip, and they'd still hang into the end zone. So it is an absolutely ginormous airplane. And of course, the first flight, a maiden flight of a vehicle like that is an impressive event. And by all accounts, it went off fairly well.
All right, let the record show that Bill Harwood used the word ginormous to describe this plane. Let me ask you about how this would work. So this is designed as a flying launch pad. As we look at that plane, can you just break that down for us? What are we talking about here?
Sure. You know, if you go back to the 50s and 60s when NASA was launching the X-15 rocket plane, for example, they would carry it up to altitude under the wing of a B-52, and they would drop it from there. The idea is the same thing here. The lion's share of the work of a launch is getting out of the lower atmosphere. That's where the air resistance is the thickest. You have to do the most work to overcome those aerodynamic stresses. So the idea is if you can carry your rocket up to 30,000 feet, 40,000 feet, whatever, drop it there and then light the engine, you've already got the hardest part of the launch behind you, and the airplane did that. So that means you can carry satellites to space with smaller rockets. And you don't have to worry about the weather so much. You know, as you well know, Elaine, watching launches down here, you know, weather scrubs launches all the time. An airplane can simply fly to a clear spot and drop the rocket and get the satellite launched. So there's some clear advantages to this and some big questions too.